Hello guys and welcome to day 3 of the bootcamp. My name is Marlon, and I'm Our Heroes Art Director and also co-founder. I've been working for several studios as a character artist, like Blur, Goodbye Kansas or Electronic Arts, working in video games and also cinematics. Today, we're going to be focusing in building face using my approach. I know for the last 2 days you've been working with Daniel and Gelozzi, great artists, developing several skills about how to read your concept. Today we're going to be focusing mostly into ZBrush, so we're going to jump into practice right now. So let's open ZBrush and start generating our first character. So here we are in ZBrush. So the first thing that I want to make sure is that my perspective is off for now, because I'm going to use my clip brush. So I'm going to select my clip brush just here. I'm going to get my clip brush. It's going to ask you if it's the active tool. You say yes. Make sure your symmetry is activated. And I'm going to draw a line in one of the sides. This automatically is going to create me the initial temporal line. Let me just make it a little bit further, something like this. The next thing that I want to do, I want to make sure where is the middle point. So I'm just going to draw a line where I think is supposed to be the middle point. So we know it's going to happen somewhere like around here. So with all this information, we already start building the structure of the face. So we're going to mask out one of the quarters and we're going to invert it. And then we're going to, with the move brush, we're going to push down all this area here. Now from the frontal view, we can already start fixing some of these areas. So we can already start thinking about how it should be looking. We can already start thinking about all this area here. And already making all this area a bit better. Something like this. I'm going now to invert the mask and I'm going to smooth out all this area behind it to make sure we can already have a smoother shape. I'm going to keep smoothing shapes here. And now with my damn standard, I'm going to already start drawing where is the jawline. So I'm just going to make initial jawline to make sure that I know later on where to start. So right now at this stage, I feel like it's needed to have some initial neck. So we're going to just create an initial mask. And now we're going just to try to make sure that it's nicer. So let me just make sure that it has a better shape. So let's mask it out, something like this. And then we're going to press all of this downwards. And then from here, we can already just quickly create some initial shapes. So we are going to quickly make sure that, let me already do some dynamesh here with a lower subdivision number. So we are going to go for something around 48 for now. And now we're going to start making a better structure neck area here. We're going to smooth it out and we're going to start smoothing out this area here. Let me press this area a little bit inwards. And then we're going to press all this area a bit inwards as well, just to make sure we have some initial shapes already here happening. Okay, at this point, we can already start thinking about how to build the structure. So we know that the initial line was something around here. So we're going to start already building the nose. So for that, I'm going to select the clay tube brush, and I'm going to draw quickly one nose here. Something around here, and I'm going to give a little bit of volume. Now I'm going to just double check the profile view just to make sure that it looks as natural as I can for now, and it's looking sort of fine for now. So at this stage, also with the move brush, I know that the orbital boundary is going to happen something around here, so I'm just going to press all this area a bit inwards. This is going to help me already to create a little bit of depression, so we can already start placing or eyeballs or well, not in this case, but place our eyelids and eyeballs easier. So I'm going to press all this area a little bit inwards as well, just to make sure it's more natural. And from the profile view, we need to already start improving all this area here. So we know that the orbital bone, it has certain of a squarish shape. So even if we draw initial circle, we need to make sure that we retain this kind of square shape. Okay, so at this stage, I want to start already thinking about the mouth. So I'm going to draw a little bit of volume here. Doesn't matter which brush. And now with my damn standard, I'm just going to quickly create one line here. This initial line is going to already make the initial separation where the lower mouth is going to be and the upper lip is upper lip is going to be. So it's going to start smoothing out some of the shapes. And quickly, I'm going to already start using this initial line that we created to already help to create our mouth. So it's going to press all of this inwards, and we already start having some shapes happening here. Let me just with the damn standard overreact this shape. Let me already start defining better what is supposed to be the lower lip, and then finding the depressor area. Now in terms of the chin, we need to already start giving a little bit of chin here. Improve the jawline. Should be supposed to be something around here. And we can already start thinking about even placing part of the ear. So for the ear, what I'm going to do, we know that the ear is going to be somewhere around here. So I'm just going to quickly mask the ear, and then I'm just going to extract it here. So it's going to give a little bit of inner volume. So we have already something before we apply the Dynamesh operation. And I'm just going to quickly just create just some initial shapes here, so it resembles how it's supposed to be the ear shape. Something around this. So at this stage, what I want to do, I just want to smooth out everything, delete lower, and then want to come to a higher subdivision of resolution under Dynamesh, and then create one Dynamesh. This already is going to give me more topology to play on. So at this stage, what I want to do, I want to already start thinking about some structure. So one of the big points that we need to find is about the zygomatic bond. So we already find our temporal line, and we know that our orbital is going to happen somewhere around here. So we are aware that our zygomatic bond is going to be somewhere around here. So we are going to make sure that if I draw a line towards the ear, our zygomatic bond is going to be located somewhere here. So I'm going to make sure that here, all this area is already forming what is supposed to be the zygomatic bond, that is this pressure here. And I'm going to press all this area a little bit inwards. And I'm going to press all this area a bit inwards as well. This is going to help me to create this initial zygomatic bond. The next thing that I want to do, I want to already start thinking about placing the eyes, sorry. So for the eyes, I'm just going to make sure that I have a better defined shape here. So it's going to press a little bit lower here. And now with my clay brush, I'm just going to create a little bit of volumes here. That is going to help me to create the initial shapes of the eyes. So for this exercise, I'm just going to show you with closed eyes, since I'm not going to go for a full detailed version, but it's just more of a small structure, so you are able to approach things better in case you need it. So I'm just going to come here with my damn standard, and I'm just going to create the initial eyelid from the eyes. So it's very important that you finalize all the eyes where the orbital bond, as we have here, where is the lacrimal bone that is should be already kind of attached to it. So we have this illusion here already from having our eyes attached to something. And kind of the same happened with the other side. It's just that there is some gap between, so we can cover somewhere till here. So the next thing that I want to do, I want to make sure that my orbital bone is a bit better, since it's a bit thick. And our temporal line, we're going to start smoothing it out. So I'm just going with my trim dynamic. I'm just going to quickly just create better sense of proportions. But it was very important to create those initial lines, so we already have a better structure of the head in no time. So at this stage, what I can do quickly, I just can define better the lips. So I'm just going to, with my damn standard, I'm going to start defining a bit better the lips. And then for the lower lip, what I can do is I can just create a little bit of vermilion around here. So it's already have this illusion of the vermilion border that we all have. Here as well, a bit more, and then just create the philtrum a bit better here. So for the remaining structure, now we can start already thinking about fat. So here we have all what is the malar fat around this area. So for it, we are going to press with the damn standard a little bit like strong to make sure we have already some nice change of planes here happening. This is going to already create a very nice illusion where the orbital bone finish and when we have the fat going on here. As you can tell, we already have something going on here. Something that I'm noticing is that my nose is not completely defined, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm defining better the nose. So I'm going to come here to my profile view, and I'm going to start defining it a little bit better. Let me just move it out a little bit. Let me already start creating the nostrils and all the area from the nose. So I'm just going to come here, and I'm going to press a lot of this area a bit inwards. And here as well, we have a little bit of malar fat, again, an intersection between malar fat and all of our orbital all of our muscles from the mouth as well. So we are going to push even with the standard brush a little bit more here, so we have a better sense of where the fat is happening here. So we can already start even smoothing out some of these shapes here, and we already start having a better sense of the character. I think at this stage I can already start fixing some of the shapes. I'm going to already even smooth out some other shapes here, so we know that this area is a little bit pushed a little bit outwards. I'm going to make this guy a little bit prettier. So right now the guy is like a little bit too strong or maybe too fat, so I'm just going to make sure that the structure of the face is a bit nicer, you know. So I'm just going to make sure that the orbital bone is pressed nicely. I'm going to add a little bit of fat around here as well. So I'm just going to make sure that there is a little bit of fat somewhere around here. So we have a nice change of angle somewhere here. And also it's very important that our nose bridge, it has a very nice structure already defined here. So with my standard brush, I'm just going to press a little bit inwards here, so it's more obvious where our eyes are happening. Something that is very important is that you are noticing that I'm not subdividing the mesh, and that's something very important because I normally don't go to higher subdivision level too fast. I tend to take my time before I start jumping into it. So it's very important that you consider that every time you are working with a character. Don't try to jump into higher subdivision level too fast, because it's not going to help your character. I'm telling you straight. So try to always be in the lowest as possible, as much as you can. So I just help in all this area just by, you know, like taking second looks into it and trying to make sure that it looks nicer. I feel like I want to start drawing a little bit of eyebrows here, so it's a little bit better defined, the eyebrows from this guy. I hope you notice already that I'm sculpting a male. Nevertheless, structure-wise, the procedure that we are using is, I mean, is the same. Obviously, there is some change of structure, but still, the procedure that we are using between male and female is very similar. Very subtle changes most of the time, but it's very important that you always start the head almost all the time with the same kind of approach. So I'm going to define a little bit better here. Here, I obviously need a little bit more of subdivision, but right now I don't want to give it more subdivision because I want to still working out better the shapes. I can tell that my nose shape is a bit weird, so I'm just going to help it out a little bit. Try to make sure that the nose has a better shape in all the areas. At this stage, I can already start thinking even about building better the neck. So I can just give it a little bit more structure here. So it's going to remove a little bit of, you know, volumes here. Try to make sure that we have already our sternocleido already attached to the back of the skull. And we have already even our trapezius in place. And more or less like this, we have already a nice structured face in almost no time. And this is the beauty about making something with some structure, because this is going to allow you straight to tackle difficult things in the best way as possible. So right now I'm just going to work a little bit of the ears, just because right now it needs a little bit more of push around this area. So I'm just going to make sure that our ears is a bit better defined. So just going to quickly just give it a little bit more of volumes here. Smooth it out. Standard, something like this. I don't want to jump into Sculptris Pro right now. Because I want to make sure my topology is similar. But feel free to use the Sculptris Pro in case you want it. I normally use it quite often. I just don't want to use it now, just because I want to make sure that I focus just into the main shapes first, and then later on, if I have time, I can do the Sculptris Pro work. But at this stage, it's not really needed. So we can already define a bit better this, and we have already this defined a bit better, and we start having a little bit of more sense in terms of what is supposed to be the ear, right? Even if it's too fat right now, it doesn't really matter because you have the structure that is the most important thing. So in general, we can already start thinking about improving a little bit some of the school landmarks. So we have already our orbital bone already defined. We have already our temporal line, which can be a little bit inwards here. Here we always have, especially males, we have a very big change of angle here, something around here. So it's kind of relevant that we always kind of maintain this kind of change of angle in our sculpts as well. It's a bit of an aged character, as you can tell. I mean, the guy has already some, maybe on his 40s or something like that. But in general, I think school-wise, we already have a nice sense of proportions and a very nice sense of how the school will be. So the last tip that I want to give you is about how to approach the backside of the character. So if I draw a line from the zygomatic bone, we can have a line something like here. So we know that here we are going to have a change of angle. So this change of angle normally is going to be something like this. So we have the change of angle that is going to be inclinated towards the neck, and the other part that is actually the skull itself. So this is going to be very helpful to create the back of the character. You just need to find first the zygomatic bone, and from there you can already start thinking about where the angle is going to change. So I'm just going to smooth out some of the shapes so it's looking a bit more natural in general. I just wanted to look as natural as possible before I conclude the character. Here we can already start giving a little bit more of change of planes here as well. Since we have our sternocleido happening already here, we already know that the trapezius muscle is going to be somewhere here on the back. That is happening here already on the back. I'm not focusing on this area, I'm just going to smooth it out for now. And I feel that probably the neck is too short, so I'm just going to quickly, to sum it up, I'm just going to push a little bit downwards and then just make some funny fixes. And we can already start concluding the character. So this is the way that I normally approach any phase. Just with those initial approaches, just with those initial structural lines, I can already build some structure in almost no time. Alright, so that's it. That's the end of the bootcamp. I hope you guys found it useful. I'm sure you got a lot of knowledge to share. Feel free to post your work, tag me, tag our heroes, tag any of the instructors and show us your work. We're going to love to see your final outcome on this. So let's keep in touch and just see you in the next one.